Biden's they're talking about potential conflict with Iran. We can't fight Iran. We don't have the forces to do that. We fought the Gulf War in 1991 by having friendly ports and airfields that we could bring our ships into and offload in an uncontested fashion and land and offload troops. How are we going to do that in a war with Iran? They're going to blow up every port, blow up every airfield. It means now we have to do a forcible entry into an Iranian port, Chabahar, Bandar Abbas. We don't have the force structure to do that. Iran has missiles that'll sink our ships before we get there. They're parking 2 aircraft carrier battle groups off the coast of Lebanon with a 2,000 man amphibious ready group to fight Hezbollah. Hezbollah is 100,000 men, highly trained, dug in to the hills of southern Lebanon who've been preparing for this fight. We have gone insane. Let me just make it very clear. America can't fight and win a war anywhere in the world right now against any power that has any military capability. We're that weak.
So there's a report now this morning that Israel got cold feet and they're likely not going to launch a ground invasion into Gaza. And people following my coverage of this issue shouldn't be too surprised by this. I've been saying that the last time ground forces went into Gaza in 2014, it did not go that well for Israel, and there were over 40 casualties. The Palestinians simply know the terrain in the Gaza Strip much better, and in an urban guerrilla warfare scenario, they have a huge advantage over the Israelis. And I didn't think Israel would be eager to send ground forces in because they can just sit back behind their American missiles and launch them indiscriminately into Gaza. And in 2014, the last time these ground skirmishes went down, it looked like Israel was going to lose until the U.S. got involved. And wouldn't you know it, the U.S. just committed 2,000 troops to potentially deploy to Israel, which they say are non-combat troops, but I've heard that one before. And this is just what America needs. Another war. That's what all Americans want, to get more militarily involved overseas. Just kidding, but we'll see how this situation develops in the coming days. Will Israel, along with the U.S., launch a ground invasion into Gaza? Only time will tell.
If the Israelis go into Gaza, what are they going to do? Judge, I'm going to be just dead up straight with you. They're going to die. They're going to die in numbers that the Israelis haven't seen before. And the Israeli military knows it. Why do you think they haven't gone in yet? Because they know what's going to happen. Hamas is ready for them. Hamas is prepared for them. Hamas told Iran said, hey, look, if you guys are in trouble, we'll come in now. Hamas said, we got this, boss. We are ready for this. We don't need your help. We don't want your help. Hamas is luring the Israelis into a death trap in Gaza. And that's what's going to happen to the Israeli army when they go into Gaza. They're going to die.
Let's see, just want to watch a war. Tell them, allow us safe passage to Israel, and they can watch a war. That's the other part of the puzzle here, that there's no solution for if it goes to that point. And then might I add, that's it for oil. No oil's coming out of the Middle East. The thing goes up in flames. Derivatives, everything crashes. You know what I mean? That's the other part of it, Scott.
Yeah, look, you're right. In Iran, first of all, Iran raised the black flag over a shrine, and people can go, well, that's just, guys. The Iranians take their religion very, very seriously. They raised the black flag. You know what happened after they raised the black flag? 2 million Iranians signed up to go to war against Israel. They went in and they signed up. They enlisted. They're ready to go. While this was happening in Iraq, the pro-Iranian Shia militias have sent forward reconnaissance elements to the Israeli border. So they've gone in. They said, okay, where's our sector of fire? Where's our operation? Boom. Okay, we're going to come in. They're preparing to move to the Israeli border. Israel has no clue what's about to happen. It's a fundamentally different kind of conflict. This is their worst nightmare. This is the Arab world coming up. And I saw something, and again, my wife tells me, never read the comments. But I saw something. Someone said that I forgot about nukes. No, you forgot about nukes. If anybody thinks Israel can use a nuclear weapon and survive, think again. It's the Samson option, guys. It means they use it, the house comes in, and it's end of Israel. Pakistan has already said that if Israeli missiles fly against Iran, Pakistani missiles fly against Israel. All right, now, if Israeli missiles with nuclear weapons fly against Iran, Pakistani missiles with nuclear weapons will fly against Israel. All right. That's just the way it is. The Muslim world is united. It's over for Israel. They've lost. They just haven't realized it yet. Their best bet is to try and find a way to get back to the Yitzhak Rabin solution, 1967 green lines. But if they want to fight, again, fool around, find out. They're about to find out. And the United States is about to find out. We don't have the military resources. Deterrence requires, in order to be deterred, you have to believe that if somebody pulls the trigger, they're going to hurt you very, very badly. Iran is looking at saying the U.S. can hit us, but they can't kill us short of nuclear weapons. And again, I don't think the United States is in the business of launching preemptive nuclear strikes against Iran, because it will not end well. It won't end well for the United States. The world will not forgive the United States a third preemptive use of nuclear weapons.
I got to add this. I read that a number of militias in Iraq and other countries have said that if the United States enters on behalf of Israel, that all U.S. military bases become legitimate targets. So that's the other thing. You put ships there. Oh, yeah, they're deterrents, they're power, they're targets. You got hundreds of bases all over the Middle East. If the Muslim world sees this as a generational crusade war, you're not fighting a state actor anymore. How do you can't resupply the bases. You can't get those guys out. I mean, you're setting those guys in those bases up to, they're in world of hurt. Go ahead, Scott.
No, you're absolutely correct. Look, we have several thousand troops in Syria. Again, the key to war, it's not just about muscle-bound men in the front lines with cool-looking weapons and, cool gear. I mean, hell, we got the best TikTok army the world's ever seen. We can dress up. We got God, we're good. But all that is stuff. But the guy wearing the stuff, he needs to eat. First thing. Where's the food coming from, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's in the refrigerator over there. Where's the power coming from? From that generator over there. What powers the generator? That fuel and that fuel can over there. All right. You just named a number of things. One, we have to get the food to them, and we have to get the fuel to the generator just to power up. And this is just the basics. You go into combat with your basic load of ammunition, and it allows you to get into a nice little shootout. But eventually you run out of ammunition and you have to get ammo up. Where's it come from? Well, from that ammunition dump right there. But you don't want too big of an ammunition dump, because that becomes a huge target. So it's a small one with the bigger one in the rear protected. But that means you got to bring ammo up from that, a line of communication, the same line of communication that your food and your fuel is coming in on, and your replacements, because you can't do this forever. You've got to rotate out. Lengthy line of communication from Syria to basically Erbil in northern Iraq. It's where the U.S. has a big base amongst the Kurds. But from that, a long road down through Iraq, through Baghdad, down into southern Iraq, where a lot of Shia live, to Kuwait. Okay, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If the Shia militias ever said, you're done, those lines of communication don't exist. Now, we can fly things into Erbil. But now this is Berlin airlift type stuff, guys. We have to have dedicated transport doing this full time. And it becomes vulnerable because they're landing in an airfield that's going to be peppered with rockets as they land. And once they blow up one C-17 or C-130, nothing's landing. Oop, you're out of logistics now. We are so vulnerable right now. This is a horribly vulnerable. This is the worst nightmare for Americans. The best thing we could do right now is get everybody the hell out of Syria and out of Iraq. They are exposed. And everybody can sit here. It's all fun and games until they're over the perimeter, through the wire, and they're on you, and you don't have any ammunition. Then you become a prisoner or you're dead. They will swamp us. They will overwhelm us. The Iranians have precision strike munitions, lots of them in close proximity. And when they decide to hit a specific bunker, a specific command and control spot, they will hit it. And we don't have a rapid reaction force to bail them out. We're pretty good until we run out of ammo. We're pretty good until we can't communicate. Air power can only loiter over a battlefield for so long before they have to leave station. They go bingo fuel. if you don't have other airplanes up ready to rock, but even those airplanes up ready, they run out of ammo. There's only so many bombs an airplane can carry. And when millions of people are coming at you, you're going to get swamped. It's going to be over. It's going to be like a scene from, what was that movie? The Zombie Wars or whatever.
Or if you think about it, think about the British fighting the Zulu warriors. You know what I mean? 15,000 British, they had guns, they had cannons, and the British and the Zulu warriors had a lot of very angry people. And they hit them and they're firing and they came around behind them and they came in from behind and they had these weapons. If you ever seen that, studied that, they had like a big sharp kind of axe thing in the front and what have you. They had handheld weapons. They collapsed on them and they'd come in and they would gut you down the middle. You were done. You're not surviving that. And it was a matter of numbers. And they had two things. They had numbers, but they had a great Zulu general who had a great plan. When you run into the indigenous people with great numbers and a plan and they're angry, you're done.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, it's the bottom line is that we don't have divisions in Iraq anymore. We don't have supporting arms in Iraq. We don't have the ability to surge a rapid reaction force backed up by meaningful power anymore. We have a certain number of guys up front that can do a certain limited mission. But if it ever got to the point where you are being challenged systemically by everything, everywhere, it's over. It's literally over. And it's going to be a bunch of little Alamos that aren't going to last very long. So, this is the reality. We keep talking about 2 aircraft carrier. I mean, I love how people are like, we got 2 aircraft carrier battle groups. Yep, there's a number of Tomahawk missiles. I get it. Number of aircraft. They can fly a number of sorties. The last time we flew sorties over Lebanon, it didn't end so well. Do you guys remember that? The Zuf Mountains, USS New Jersey, popping rounds off. They had old 16-inch cannons, so they didn't have the powder down right. So they thought they were hitting positions on the one side, but it went over the.
Here's some good news for your day, guys. Look at this. They postponed the invasion in Gaza, but I wonder why. Is it because Team Peace and Love is actually changing the fucking world? I don't know. Let's take a look. So let's take a look inside the article. The offensive has been planned for the weekend, but was rescheduled now because of adverse weather conditions. Well, that's a little bit weird. That must mean that major weather's coming in. Let me just check the weather and see if that's correct. Oh, look, there's no clouds and no bad weather. And I checked tomorrow, it's gonna rain for maybe 10 minutes. And then I checked the satellite and there's not even any clouds, only up in Turkey. So I just checked the wind just in case, but then no wind. But then I saw this and I was like, oh, and this right here. Oh, So Team Peace and Love and the pressure of the international community. And then I saw this. Oh, and that, and the world has been watching and they're like, I wonder if Team Peace and Love is making a difference and anyone and everyone out there that's promoting peace and love is actually starting to make a difference. You tell me. You saw the news. It's certainly better than the last couple days.